Hey folks, welcome back. So as I said in the last video, it's been a bit of a stressful time lately, but I'm trying to get back into the groove of more regular releases of videos, so apologies for being a little bit inconsistent here and there, but doing what I can in the time I have. Today we're going to look at a new book release for Traveler. This is Traders and Gunboats, so it's another lovely book of ships, usable for players and also for GMs to populate the space lanes. And we have a variety of different ships from different polities in the charted space universe, which makes it really exciting. Just over 200 pages, as per usual with Mongoose. The printing quality is very nice. And of course, if you love building your own ships, you won't have a lot of use out of this. I have no time for that sort of thing, so I love books full of ships that I can just pick up and use. So if you're like me and you want cool ships for your players and cool ships to throw out into space for them to encounter, this is another great book to have on the table, along with adventure class ships, the small craft catalog, high guard, etc. So, without any further ado, let's take a look at what we got here. Look at the blurb on the back. Traders and gunboats are present in their tens and hundreds of thousands throughout the universes of Traveler and are amongst the most common ships found on the space lane. This book gives you more than 70 new ships in this class to be used by travelers, pirates, traders, government forces, and corporations. Each vessel has a specific role in the universe, built to accomplish it with the best of components available to its builders, or at least to a specific budget. So here you'll find ships of the Imperium and independent systems, of the Zhodani Consulate, the Solomani Confederation, as well as the Sword Worlds, Aslan, Kukri, Vargar, Hivers, and Droyne. Includes rules on how your travelers can get their hands on any of these ships after their careers are completed and they're ready to voyage across the stars. So, much like adventure class ships, we have an extended table for ships as benefits, which you can roll at the end of your career when you're generating your character, which is nice. The interesting part of this we'll get to later is that some of the ships are indeed not from the Imperium. You may want to modify that table even further if you're dealing with a group of travelers who are not based in the Third Imperium, but coming from the Hiver Confederation or whatever else. So let's jump right in and see what we get here. We've got a volume here put together by Matthew Sprang, a very productive member of the Mongoose team, producing a number of great pieces of work for them. And we've got a brief but reasonably useful table of contents, just laying out the different sections of ships that we have. So we have a brief intro, the High Guard editions, then we have the Aslan ships, Droyne, Hivers, the Imperium, Independence, Kukri, Solomani, Sword Worlds, Vargar, and Zhodani. So it's going in straight alphabetical order. And in our intro, we just have a couple of pages here, and like I mentioned, we go into an extended ships as benefits table. So you remember it got large in adventure class ships, and it's even bigger here, but there's not actually that many additions from traders and gunboats except under the free trader category, which makes sense given the title, and a couple in Zhodani as well. We got 5 new possibilities in the free trader category, and for the trader Zhodani, we've got the Nokul free trader and the Brimanch frontier trader. And that's basically it for the intro. We jump right into a page of high guard editions, and this is really straightforward. So basically, a lot of ships that have small turrets will have beam lasers and pulse lasers. What they've done here is they've created bay-sized weapons for lasers. Bays, as you know, are larger versions of turrets and stuff like that. Larger size ships will have bay weapons that can do a lot more damage than a normal sized turret. And so they've given bay-sized laser weapons that are now available for building your own ships or for inclusion in the ships in the book. Small bay, medium bay, and large bay beam lasers, which take varying amounts of power, a huge amount for a large bay. Damage 2D, 3D, and 3D. We got pulse lasers with similar situation for small, medium, and large bays. They all have a range of long and higher damage at 4D, 6D, and 6D respectively. And then finally we have the burst laser. So this is a midpoint between the pulse and beam lasers. So they're a rapid firing turret weapon. They have a small power requirement of just 4, only 1D damage, but they have the trait of auto 3. So that's really useful. You can basically fire a bunch of lasers at once and you have a greater chance of doing some damage. And then we jump right into the ships with the Aslan. First of all, we've got an Aslan light fighter, tech level 12, 12 tons, close structure, which is weird. It kind of looks like a streamlined structure to me, but what do I know? It's got improved stealth, which is nice, so it's hard to spot on the sensors. Armor of 4, crystal iron, 5 thrust M drive, which is not too bad, but for a fighter you might want a little bit faster. But it does have a nice fusion power plant, can run for 2 weeks. It's got a computer 10, which is not too bad for something this small. Military grade sensors, fixed mount missile rack, and 36 missiles. So it's mainly to put up a screen of missiles, and because of the added stealth, the space between you will be flooded with missiles, and they'll already be dodging away back to their carrier. So then we've got the Aslan launch, the Sakal class, 24 tons, a little bit heavier than a normal launch, which is 20 tons. It's got thrust 2, so it's also a little bit faster. Computer 5, fuel scoop, 24 acceleration seats, so it works well as a lifeboat. And it's got a bit of cargo space as well with 7 tons. So pretty much used as a nice little ferry for short system journeys or as an auxiliary alongside larger ships. Useful both for people and cargo carrying. Then we got the Orbital Defense Fighter. Looks a bit chunkier, this guy. This one's streamlined and has light arrow fins. So it's good in the atmosphere. Got a bigger armor as well, 10 crystalline armor instead of 5. It's only got thrust 2, but it has got a reaction drive with a thrust 12, but it's fuel inefficient. So you can have a brief burst of extreme thrust under the R drive to catch up to fighters trying to escape. You can see from the deck plan, it's got a whole shitload of missiles here tucked away, and it's got computer 5, it's got a fixed mount beam laser, it's got the pilot seat here, and then we've got a missile rack here, number 3. It also has armored bulkheads around the cockpit and drive and power plant, so it gives it some more resistance against critical hits and stuff like that. So it's a decent little fighting ship. The idea is that they sort of flood orbital space in number, creating sort of an iron ring around the planet. And anybody who tries to invade will find themselves just fired at with dozens or hundreds of missiles. Getting rid of that many fighters is a huge pain, so you have to deal with the missiles as well. And then they can just return with their reaction drive really quickly to their carrier and refuel, rearm, come back. So they're really pesky defenders and determined defenders, which I think is a really nice niche for this fighter to fill. We got the troop carrier, pretty cool looking, I gotta say. I like the red and white paint job there. So it's a venerable design, apparently. It's been around for a while. It took level 12, but still built across the Aslan Hiver in large numbers. So it can deliver 100 fighting troops to a planet surface while under fire, because it's got a decent armor, streamlined, so it can land on a planet surface, and it's got arrow fins as well for better control in atmospheres. Thrust of 3, which is not bad for a chunky troop carrier like this. It's got a small bridge and a computer 10 with some extra reinforcement. Military grade sensors, double turret with rail guns, which is nice. It's got some armories and a shrine to heroes to help out the troops, and it has 25 acceleration benches, and basically here you can see on the diagram, so we've got a bridge with the pilot, we've got our sensor suites, we've got a head, we've got some missiles here, double turret of railguns, those are railgun ammo, cabin space, stateroom for the captain, the shrine here, we've got common areas, and then just loads of acceleration benches for all of your troops, and a little bit of cargo space, 7.5 tons. The typical crew will be a pilot, engineer, gunner, and 100 warriors. 36 million credits. We got our hunting yacht, another cool design, very cool looking, as a lot of their ships are. So this is the Actel class, usually found in the hands of a minor warlord or Ihate leader. It's a pleasure craft used for star hopping and vacations, which typically means hunting expeditions. So similar to a safari ship, but it doesn't have any holding tanks for prey because the Aslan just like to kill their prey. It's got 200-ton hull, it's streamlined so it can land on a planet surface, armor of only 2, got a thrust of 3, which is decent for a yacht, and jump of 2, which is very handy. It's got triple turrets with beam lasers and sandcaster, and there are 2 triple turrets because it's got 2 hard points at 200 tons. It also carries 2 air rafts, which are handy to get you even down from low orbit into the surface if you don't want to bring the craft itself down, or for maneuverability on your hunting trips on the surface. You've also got docking spaces, fuel processor, armory, shrine, a biosphere, and then you've got your trophy lounge. And the biosphere is actually a refrigeration area where they put carcasses to keep them fresh. The lower deck is mainly where the action takes place, and the upper deck we have docking spaces for the air rafts, and we've got, fuel, cargo areas, and our various drives as well. So the staterooms, common areas, all that sort of stuff, and the bridge are on the lower deck. Yeah, so it's a pretty decent little craft. It's got some firepower behind it and some flexibility with the air rafts on board. Costs 81 million, so a bit more than like a free trader or something on the lower end of the cost, but still affordable for a group of travelers. Potentially. And we have the freighter. So this is used by tiny clans who don't have need of big bulk freighters. So you can see the lower deck is just like a huge cargo area. We have some cargo cranes here, low berths are available here if needed, and then it's got 3 sets of turrets, and within those turrets there's beam lasers and sandcasters, and basically it's all about carrying lots of cargo, 91 tons of it in fact in this case. It's also got 6 high-class staterooms, 10 standards, and 10 low berths, so you could use this as a passenger vessel as well. Get a steward on board and bring along a lot of cargo with you, so it's a decent way to make some cash. Because of the 3 turrets filled with weapons, if a pirate tries to come after you, you can give him a good punch on the nose. That's pretty handy. Then we've got the Armed Scout, another cool looking ship. Here you can kind of make out what is reflected in the deck plan. So there's like an upper deck here, which is relatively small, and that's where the Aslans actually hang out and do their stuff. And the bottom level is just fuel, and weapons. It's a 400-ton scout streamlined, so it can land on the planet surface. It's got armor of 4, thrust 2, but it's got jump 3 with decreased fuel, which is pretty awesome. And it's got a computer 15, so you can get some more programs on there. Improved sensors with improved signal processing, and it's got 4 triple turrets, each with a pulse laser, missile rack, and and Sandcaster. Great deal of flexibility there. You've got lasers to deal with incoming fire or small craft. You got missile racks to keep opponents at standoff distance, and you got Sandcasters for defense. It's got 48 missiles in storage and 80 canisters for the Sandcaster. You got a Shrine to Heroes, 5 probe drones as well for your scout duties, and a bunch of great software. It's expensive though, 158 million credits, but it is a 400-ton craft with quite a lot of flexibility. And you do need a decent crew with a captain, pilot, astrogator, 2 engineers, and 4 gunners, 1 for each turret. You use virtual crew for that, but then that adds some more cost elsewhere. I really like this one, and it'd be cool to have, if you were in an Aslan-based campaign, to have this as a base of operations for, exploratory / raiding type operations. Then we got a larger freighter here, so this is usually found in the merchant fleets of larger and more traditional clans. This is 400 tons and streamlined, so it can land on the surface, thrust 1 and jump 1, nothing to write home about. It does have an emergency power system, which is handy. Small bridge, small computer, just 5, civilian grade sensors, and no weapons for the first time. But it does have a Shrine to Heroes, great deal of cargo space at 281 tons, which is a lot, and only 5 staterooms. So this is not one where you would typically carry passengers, it's just enough space for the crew, and then the entire middle deck is just cargo space. Very capable of earning good returns on trading interstellar goods with this bad boy. Then we got the Clan Liner. So this is definitely a passenger vessel. It's a common liner in the heart of the Pirates. It's the Fakao class, typical of Aslan civilian ship architecture. Possesses some weaponry as well, just to keep the pirates at bay. And you can see that on the ship legend here. We've got some turrets as well. It's a 500-ton ship, thrust 1, jump 2, which is pretty decent for passenger carriage. It's got power 270 and an emergency power system. Got a computer of 10, so a bit more capacity there. Just civilian grade sensors, but it has 3 triple turrets with beam lasers and missile racks, and 36 missiles in storage. 12 sets of high ×2 staterooms, 55 standard staterooms, and 3 barracks, so you can carry warriors, and it's got an advanced theater for entertainment as well. You see this theater here, the bridge is on the lower deck, and then we've got all our various staterooms here, and the luxury staterooms are on the upper deck. Tons of room for passenger carriage, and definitely a decent way to make some money, and it can defend itself, but it costs 151 million again, so not super cheap. We got the frigate, so we're getting to bigger and bigger ships here. Now we have the Yurikar class frigate. It's 800 tons close structure with improved stealth, which is nice, but has a lower armor of 4, thrust of 4, so it's pretty speedy for its size, and a jump of 3, which is excellent, gives it a nice range, and 900 power, which is quite a lot. And it's got holographic controls, a beefed up computer 20, countermeasures as well for sensors and improved sensors, and here we're up to the size where we can have gun bays. So it's got medium fusion gun bays, a particle barbette, and 6 triple turrets filled with pulse lasers, so that's really nice. It also carries Fai assault craft aboard as well, and that's in the small craft catalog, kind of heavy fighter type action. We've got Shrine to Heroes, armory, the usual stuff, 32 barracks and 10 staterooms, pretty decent military warship. It's a small warship, but it's got enough room to carry a bunch of marines. It's got the fusion gun base up front here, which you can see on the lower deck. We've got a bunch of turrets as well, so it does need a larger crew. 32 marines, 2 small craft crew, 16 gunners, 3 pilots, an astrogator, a captain, 4 engineers. So this is a proper military warship that needs a well-constructed crew, specialized for their specific functions, and somebody to order them around. We've got the Intruder Transport, which is the AIKR class. It has been deployed by a few clans as a military assault craft, but is mostly found in the hands of wealthy Aslan mercenary groups. They can carry a ton of troops on board, in fact 253 warriors, as well as small craft pilots, and tons of cargo space, as you can see here. So it's got 151 tons of cargo space, it's got 190 low berths, 63 barracks, 30 standard staterooms, and 6 high staterooms. So they've got nuclear dampers, 288 missiles, which are fired off by 2 small missile bays. Then we've got 6 triple turrets of beam lasers and 4 double turrets of fusion guns. So quite a lot of firepower. It's also 3,000 tons and costs 1.4 billion credits. Thrust 4, armor 8, jump 3, decreased fuel. So it's quite maneuverable and fast. It carries a ton of warriors, a lot of weapons, decent defenses as well with the nuclear dampers. So, I mean, you're not going to be able to afford this as a traveler group, but it would be something you might encounter in space, or you could have a naval campaign in something like this. It could be quite exciting. The middle deck of the ship, which is where the action is for the crew, we have our barracks over here. We've got some common areas, we've got a bunch of staterooms, we've got the bridge and the sensors up front as per usual, and the back is all power plants, jump drives, maneuver drives, etc. Now we get into Droyne craft. Droyne craft are interesting because they follow common design patterns, but they're all unique, and they have a lot of decorations on the surface. They've got lots of gribblies. Observers love to see them come to starports. They're quite unusual. The workings of each vessel are as much a mystery complementary to non-Droyne, and functionally they tend to be built for a Droyne smaller frame. Not something maybe for the average traveler group, but if you want to play an all-Droyne campaign, which of course you can, why not, then this might be something worth thinking about. Or if you head into Droyne space, you'll certainly encounter these. So here we have a typical Droyne trader at 120 tons with a Droyne hull. Got thrust 1, energy efficient, which is nice. Jump 1, which is, normal for a small trader. It's got holographic controls, computer of 10, military grade sensors, which is handy, and it has 36 tons of cargo space. Instead of staterooms, it has pod clusters for 12 occupants. So that's specific to Droyne. They are smaller in stature and don't need as much space, but if you were a non-Droyne, it would be pretty heinous, I think. And it's got repair drones, a loading belt, and a cargo crane, so it's good for loading up that 36 ton of cargo space. Not as efficient as the competitors, according to the description here, but that doesn't seem to bother the crew. The Droyne, they continue to just do their own thing. They're not really that concerned about how the rest of the galaxy handles things. They got their own vibes going on. And we have now the armed trader, which is cool. It's got some bubbles and turrets and whatnot sticking out of it. So this is a 300-ton hull, thrust 1, energy efficient again. Jump 2, which is much more useful. Computer 15 and military grade sensors, which are both nice to have. It's got a double turret with beam lasers, which you can see over there on the ship legend. 109 tons of cargo space, which we can see way down here. The entire lower deck, basically. 3 repair drones, 18 pod clusters. You can have up to 18 occupants, but the minimum skeletal crew is just a pilot, astrogator, engineer, and gunner. So this would be a nice ship for a set of Droyne travelers. Purchase cost is 103 million. So yeah, nice, unique looking ship, very characteristic of the Droyne lifestyle. Then we have the Merchantman, which is certainly unique looking. It says if there was ever such a thing as a typical Droyne ship found trading with frontier worlds, it might be the Voimitai class, which is this guy here. So it's recognizable by any independent captain as a trading vessel. 600 tons. It has thrust 1, energy efficient, which is typical of the Droynes we've seen so far. Then we have a jump of 2, computer of 20, military grade sensors again, loading belts, cargo cranes, pod clusters for 30 occupants. You can see all here, lots of common areas. No weapons to speak of, so it really is just more about trading. Of course, at 600 tons, you do have a lot of hard points, so you could add weapons to it if you like. Purchase cost as new is 279 million credits, so not a small investment. Basic crew is captain, pilot, astrogator, and 2 engineers, which is, 5 characters in a party. So, if you can come up with a way to pay for it, it's not out of the range of possibility. Lower deck, of course, is that huge cargo space, which amounts to 269 tons. It's a great choice for a merchant trading vessel. Huge amount of space to carry cargo, and Jump 2 lets you go a bit further than just down the mains where you have systems all in a row. Then we got the system defense boat. So now we're getting to the gunboat category at last. Gunboats are basically ships that don't have a jump capability, but they tend to be fast and full of weaponry because they don't need to dedicate all that space to a jump drive. 600 tons, auspicious of battling for the hull. Radiation shielding, which is nice to have. Armor 13, pretty hefty. Energy efficient times 2 with thrust of 6, so it's fast. 15 weeks of operation. It's got a ship heart Citadel bridge. It's got a beefed up computer 20 with military grade sensors, 2 medium particle beam bays, 3 fusion barbettes, and a point defense battery type 2. It's got nuclear damper screens, repair drones, pod clusters for 12, a ceremonial space major, and a bunch of software as well. So you can see it packs a lot of speed, a lot of armor, and a lot of weaponry into that 600 tons. So yeah, it will do a fierce job of defending Droyne territory. You'll need to find some way to talk them down or run the hell away if you're in a typical free trader and run into one of these guys and they're angry about it. And we can see a nice deck plan here. The upper deck, we've got our bridge, point defense battery on the side. We've got our fusion barbettes down here, a bit of fuel. We've got a small cargo hold. We've got our ceremonial space. There's our pod clusters and living areas. Fusion barbettes all on the side. Then we've got power plants, medium particle beam bays here, and a maneuver drive. And then the lower deck, we've got medical bay, we've got our nuclear damper, and our repair drone storage. Pretty cool. And then we move on to the Hivers. So Hivers tend not to see ships as having a primary role in the same way as other races. They build their ships to accomplish a lot of different things, and that creates a degree of uncertainty when you encounter one of their ships. You can't be sure if it's a merchant vessel or if it's actually heavily armed. You really don't know if they're a corsair or a freighter. I mean, it really gives that extra edge to an encounter with a Hiver ship. I think it's pretty cool. They have a different approach to ship design. So we've got a little guy, we've got a ship's boat, only 30 tons and streamlined, so it can come down from a larger ship down to surface. Very useful utility craft. It's got 6 armor, which is pretty good for a small craft. Thrust 1, energy efficient times 3. It's got a command center, bridge, full automation, 35 computer, which is pretty advanced for a tiny ship like this. It's got advanced sensors as well, acceleration seats, but they're hideously expensive, 52.7 million credits. And it seems they are quite usable in the Federation. There's a lot of these around. Then we got the shuttle. shuttle, the Kuvar shuttle, tech level 15. It's 100 tons and streamlined, bonded super dense armor of 6, thrust 2 with energy efficient times 3. We've got a command center bridge, full automation, 35 computer again, advanced sensors again, and 6 acceleration seats. So these are seen in Hiver space, servicing ships and starports, traveling between vessels, or making trips to and from orbit. Not as efficient as the shuttles of other species. Then we've got the escort. It's assumed to be a light escort of some description by other species, but it's been seen in a variety of different roles as a patrol craft, doing recon missions, or trading activity. Once again, as per the other Hiver vessels, nobody really knows what they're up to. Tech level 15, you've got 400 tons, streamlined hull, bonded super dense armor of 6, thrust 4, which energy efficient times 3, so it's pretty fast, and jump of 4, which is even better. A command center bridge, you've got general systems automation, integrated engineering, and automated weapons, so you don't need gunners, you just need a captain, pilot, and astrogator in the crew. It's got a hefty computer, advanced sensors, 2 triple turrets with pulse lasers, 2 triple turrets with missile racks and sandcasters, 48 missiles in storage, 40 canisters for your sandcasters, pretty small cargo space of 14 tons. But yeah, it's a pretty fast and furious little beast. I mean, it's got half-decent weapons to make Corsairs think twice, decent armor, good thrusts, great jump at 4, so pretty high-tech workhorse here, but it's 300 million credits. That's the flip side. It's got space for 4 crew in the staterooms, so it's pretty much designed around that heavy automation. And you can see that here. Got a very spacious command center here, the sensor suite up front, and then we've got our 4 different turrets here. Pretty interesting ship there. We've got our Federation Merchant, the Anuna class. This is a 400-ton standard hull, bonded super dense armor of 6. It's kind of the Hiver version of a subsidized merchant, very high-tech, but people who have seen it outside the Hiver Confederation are confused as to how it pays for itself, essentially. It only has 71 tons of cargo space, so for a 400-ton merchant vessel, it doesn't seem that efficient, but it does have some great technology aboard. You've got your thrust 1 with energy efficient times 3, jump 2 with energy efficient times 3, command center, advanced computer, lots of automation again for your general systems and engineering. Advanced sensors, it's got a ship's boat as well. Medical bay workshop, docking space for your ship's boat. 11 staterooms. So I guess you could do a bit of passenger conveyance as a way to make some money. 274.4 million credits. So again, not cheap for all that advanced technology. But the Hiver ships are kind of an intriguing mystery in that way. Very advanced, but one is curious how they actually make their money with these. Maybe they have a totally different economic system going on than what other polities expect. We've got the Keldix system defense boat. Again, like other system defense boats, it has plenty of tonnage to be a starship, but abandons the jump drive in favor of having more armor and weapons. The crew is fully automated in this case, so these can be deployed without any crew needed. You have bonded super dense armor, a streamlined pressure hull with radiation shielding, so it can appear under the oceans and be just fine. It's protected from radiation and it can land on the surface. Thrust 6 with energy efficient times 3, full automation, advanced computer systems, advanced sensors, 2 small fusion gun bays with size reduction, and 2 triple turrets with pulse lasers, nuclear damper screens, repair drones. So yeah, this thing can just pop up out of nowhere, start ruining your day with fusion guns, which is pretty badass. 500 million credits though. 4 staterooms as well, so you can have a manned crew component. You can see that the so-called small fusion gun bays are actually really big, but that's, why they have a greater degree of power than the smaller turret weapons. Then we've got the Varu class development transport. So it's dubbed that because it's designed to enter a system and then deploy and build an outpost, foundation, or fighter base, or belt mining hub, or something like that. So it's 800 tons with a standard hull, with a bonded super dense armor of 6, thrust 2, energy efficient times 3, jump 2, energy efficient times 3. So again, that high-tech, efficient technology. It's got a command center bridge, lots of automation again, so you only needed pilot, captain, and astrogator. Advanced computer, advanced sensors, triple turrets times 4 with beam lasers, triple turret with sandcasters, 60 canisters for your sandcasters, and then it's got a medical bay, workshop, library, laboratory, manufacturing plant that can manufacture 2,000 tons a day, and a mineral refinery. 50 staterooms, plenty of room to carry people. Pretty clear objective for this kind of ship. Not sure that it'd be one travelers would particularly be interested in, especially at the price of 501 million credits, but certainly one you would find plying the space lanes of the Hiver Confederation. We got the embassy ship of the class Fluno Glemner. So the original name is interpreted to mean correcting that which is moved beyond. So it's basically intended to visit worlds within the Federation to analyze and, if necessary, adjust cultural drift of member civilizations. So these ships go out to make sure that members of the Hiver Confederation sort of stay well connected to the overall Hiver culture and make quote-unquote societal corrections sections, which sounds a bit scary. 1,200 ton standard hull with super dense armor of 6, thrust 1, energy efficient 3, jump 2, energy efficient 3. We've got command center, automation of general systems, so you only have a captain, pilot, and astrogator needed. Powerful computer with advanced sensors. It can carry a Kuvar shuttle. It's got a medical bay, laboratory, biosphere, a full hangar of 100 tons, 2 briefing rooms, repair drones, 70 staterooms, 57 tons of cargo space, and a lot of common areas, we can see here. If we look on second page of the blueprint here, I mean, look at all these staterooms. Carry a ton of people. And up here at 11, we have our command center. So we've got a lot of computing going on to keep this ship automated. And then we have the Imperium. So the output of the combined Imperium and corporate shipyards of Third Imperium churn out hulls that by far overwhelm any of the other great powers in both number and tonnage. And Imperial ships have a reputation for being solid, albeit not having much of a soul, whatever that means. Travelers prefer ships with a bit of a vibe, and the Imperium ships are not of that ilk. The Gig, which is kind of a classic, ubiquitous launch, readily available within and without the Imperium, and it was originally built without the heat shields, but then eventually that became part of the standard design because of the danger to civilian maintenance staff. Most craft are now in private hands, some are still in the Imperial Navy, and they've got 20-ton streamlined hulls. They can land on the surface of a planet. They've got thrust 5 with energy efficient times 2, pretty good. Tech level 13 enables that. They've got holographic controls, basic computer, basic sensors, fixed mount beam laser, so it's a simple defense, nothing great. Tow cable, 6 cabin spaces. But yeah, useful little craft to be poodling around, getting things done in close orbit and aerospace. We've got the dropship, the Shinigami class. That's also the name of a Japanese death spirit, in case you were wondering. This long, thin craft basically is built to take a whole bunch of Marines to orbit around a hostile world and then shunt them out in assault capsules to begin an invasion. It's also really well protected in this task. It's 500 tons and streamlined. It's got radiation shielding. It's got armor of 13, thrust of 6, so it's quick as well and energy efficient. Jump of 4, which is fantastic, so you can quickly surprise a world with an invasion from quite far away. Beefed up computer 20, military grade, sensors with a countermeasure suite, fusion barbette, and 2 triple turrets of sandcasters for defense, nuclear damper screens, 38 high survivability capsules, so those are your marine drop pods, barracks for 42 marines, and 4 standard staterooms. So yeah, it's designed to jump in, surprise the hell out of everyone, and drop a load of assault marines in these high survivability pods and start a ground invasion. If you have a bunch of these at once, it's going to be a pretty scary sight. And they're also well equipped to defend the troops they have on board. Then we've got the Corvette. So this is a 600-ton standard hull. It's the Sharpei class. It's an interesting name. It doesn't really resemble a Sharpei dog to me. It's typically a multi-role vessel, but it says here it's dedicated to conducting small-scale raids and orbital interdictions, be they against a weaker power, pirates, or other low-key belligerents. So in that sense, it's got decent armor of 6, thrust of 6, which is very quick, nice for interceptions and interdictions, jump of 3, so maneuverable across the stars as well. Got a hardened computer system, improved sensors, countermeasure suite, got a torpedo barbette, 2 triple turrets of particle beams, 2 triple turrets of pulse lasers, and a double turret of sandcasters. It can store 27 torpedoes, 60 sandcaster canisters. It's got an armory, fuel processor, briefing room, medical bay, unrep system, training facility, breaching tube for boarding purposes, 8 staterooms, and barracks for 6 personnel. And you see those Marines listed on the crew list as well. You need an officer be in charge of them, 4 engineers, 6 gunners, an astrogator. So this is a proper little beefy ship, needs a proper crew. We have a lot of crew space down on the upper deck here. Triple turret particle beams and the sandcasters mounted to the rear on the upper deck. And then we have the triple turret particle beams, triple turret pulse lasers on either side of the lower deck, as well as the torpedo barbette and a large fuel tank here. And there's your breaching tube. So if you can clamp onto an unwilling ship, you can send your Marines in to pacify it, board it, do inspections, all that kind of stuff. It does have a large cargo hold with 77 tons, but purchase cost is $334 million. Pretty significant, not for the average traveler at all. We have the luxury liner Eveline class. It's a bit larger than many of the smaller liners that ply the frontier sectors, and the extra hull is used to create space for a smaller number of passengers, so it's more about luxury. We've got 4 luxury staterooms, 28 high staterooms, and 6 standard, so this is for upper class passengers within the heart of the Imperium. Comes with thrust 1 and jump 2, 750 tons. It's got a shuttle as well. It's got a docking space of 100 tons for the shuttle, plus a medical bay. Got a gourmet kitchen that seats 6, an advanced theater, and a swimming pool. Pretty cool. And you can see those aboard here. It's also got 72 tons of cargo space. Well, this is the docking space here down below. cargo holds back here. Then we have many staterooms here. We've got a common area, got various drives, more fuel. We've got our theater back here and swimming pool there. And up front, we've got our bridge and sensors off to the side. So nothing really in terms of defense here. So, you know, you can see again, this is not intended for traveling on the more dangerous fringes of the Imperium. This is for luxury passengers deeper within who are protected from incursions by the Zhodani or the Sword Worlds or what have you. Then we have the armored corvette, pretty badass looking. Kind of looks like a super large version of the Morava class Far Trader. Tech level 15. It's designed from the outset to be a fighter, and it's usually used on the edge of the Vargar extents, and so it's designed to chase down Corsairs, essentially. It's got 800 tons standard hull with reinforced radiation shielding, 15 bonded super dense armor, thrust of 4, so it's fast enough to catch these sneaky Corsairs, and a jump 4 with decreased fuel, which is fantastic. So long reach along the borders. Holographic controls, 2 hardened computer systems, a regular and a backup, advanced sensors with countermeasure suite, a small fusion gun bay, 5 pulse laser barbettes, and 2 triple turrets with missile racks. So again, we've got a variety of weaponry here. The fusion gun bay can do a lot of damage. Pulse laser barbettes can shoot out loads of volume of fire, and you can fill the intervening space with missiles from the 6 turrets of missile racks, basically. Missile storage of 144. You've got fuel scoops and fuel processor, armory, repair drones, breaching tube for boarding actions again, forced linkage apparatus advanced, which allows you to forcibly breach onto an enemy vessel, 9 staterooms, barracks for 8 marines, and a bunch of useful software for military use like broad spectrum electronic warfare, fire control, evade, etc. So really a nice fighting vessel, well liked by its crews. Compact, but packs a punch. Good at what it does. And likewise, we have the patrol frigate. It's expensive for its size, 762 million, but is intended for patrol duty, so it needs to be pretty flexible. It's able to keep up with the war fleets because it's got a jump of 4. That's the minimum speed for Imperial war fleets. They need to have a jump of 4. Can patrol out-system territories to protect an in-system fleet, patrol unknown systems before the fleet arrives. It can escort convoys through dangerous sectors. It can conduct anti-pirating operations. You know, it's all pretty good stuff. You can see a nice sized barracks here, can hold 24 marines. Got a bunch of staterooms, in fact 12 standard and 30 barracks. We've got a brig as well. It's a 900 ton streamlined hull, so we can land on surface, another element of flexibility. Got stealth as well, improved, radiation shielding, bonded super dense armor of 8, thrust of 6 with size reduction, which is awesome, jump of 4. It's all got an emergency power system, a hardened computer, advanced sensors, and a military countermeasures suite, a missile barbette, which is pretty nice, triple turrets with fusion guns times 2, and 6 triple turrets with pulse lasers as well. So again, a lot of firepower here. Big missiles capability with 60 of them in storage, fusion guns for bigger damage, blasts, and lots of pulse lasers to fill the sky with beams. And it's got a tow cable, armory, briefing room, repair drones, breaching tube, force linkage apparatus, medical bay, and unrep system. And we have advanced fire control, auto repair, and point defense, which is handy to have on your computer when you have this many pulse lasers, potentially take out smaller craft and enemy missiles. So a versatile craft, but very expensive. You can see, of course, an enormous fuel tank is required for a ship of this size, and we have our many turrets mounted along the lower deck as well. Then we got the Picket Destroyer, the Custodian class. Not class is suitable for the Navy because it's only got a jump 2, but it does have thrust 5, so it is fast. It's used in planetary navies of wealthier worlds, and it's good for protecting convoys. It really beefs up the protection of anything valuable it needs to escort. It's a close structure type hull. You can see it's got different parts kind of linked together. At 1100 tons with crystal iron armor of 4, not too great. Thrust of 5 is good. Jump of 2 is decent, but not enough for fleet operations. Regular computer, not hardened, with military grade sensors and a countermeasures suite. It's got small missile base times 2, 5 triple turrets with pulse lasers, and 4 more triple turrets with burst lasers. It holds 144 missiles. It also carries a gig and 10 light fighters. So yeah, pretty handy, even though it's not good enough jump-wise to stay with the larger fleets. And it's got a lot of space, so we've got a lot of deck plans here. You can see we have a kind of Star Trek-ish design, basically. We've got this pod sticking out to the front, like the saucer of a Federation ship, and these 2 kind of side engine pods here. And that's reflected in the diagram as well. So in the front pods, we have these countermeasure suite sensors, the bridge as well. The lower deck here, we've got staterooms, and the upper deck. The middle deck is where we have all of our engine and fuel tanks going on. We've got a full hangar here for the fighters and for the gig, and launch tube for the fighters as well, so we can get them out nice and quick style. Then we got a patrol frigate, Summerkin class. So it's built to deploy ahead of fleets and conduct patrols across multiple systems. It's got jump of 4, so it can keep up with fleets, and it can also make a double jump. So it can do 2 jumps in a row without needing to refuel, which means it can do an 8 parsec transit over 2 weeks, do some surveillance, reload with fuel from a gas giant, and then come back. Or it can do a 4 parsec jump, reconnoiter someplace, and come back instantly without having to make a dangerous refueling stop, which is fantastic. It's got a 1,200-ton spherical hull with radiation shielding, only 2 armor, high thrust is a priority here. It's thrust 6 with energy efficient times 2, jump 4, decreased fuel times 2. It's got a hardened computer, military grade sensors, 6 triple turrets with pulse lasers, an armory, 9 standard staterooms, and you need pretty decent crew, 7 engineers and 6 gunners, along with your captain, pilot, astrogator, and medic. You can see it has a whole heck of a lot of fuel space and engine space. A high cost, 692.8 million credits. But that flexibility that comes with it, I mean, you only got this tiny bit of actual crew space to live in, but basically because it carries so much damn fuel in that sphere, it gives you a huge amount of survivability as a scouting vessel or reconnoitering vessel. You can jump, from 1 to 4 parsecs and come back and not even worry about your fuel consumption. Then we have the Quinta Express liner. So it's a premium but not luxury liner and used in shipping lanes in the trailing sectors of the Imperium. It's got a high jump range, which limits its profitability because high jump costs a lot of money, but it also allows the ship to reach worlds that are way out in the middle of nowhere and hard to reach from other liners. It's 1,400-ton standard hull with thrust of 1, jump of 4. Got a gig as well on board, a 15 computer which is hardened, just civilian grade sensors, docking space for the gig, a medical bay and library standard, 10 luxury berths, 5 high staterooms, 60 standard staterooms, and 20 low berths. So it is really designed purely for passenger travel. There's no real defense mechanisms here available, so it would need to be escorted if it was going through a dangerous region. But it does carry a hell of a lot of passengers. Costs 457 million. So not cheap. And you can see again, because of the jump 4, a lot of that space has to be dedicated to fuel. All this gray static here is fuel space, but there are still enough bits of floor plan left for common areas and plenty of standard berths as well as a few luxury and high berths. Then we've got our Fallout class Express Freighter. It's a 3,000-ton close structure and generally only seen on well-trodden trade routes deep within the Imperium or for highly specialized missions that require crossing rifts because of its large jump 4. And it carries a hell of a lot of cargo, 1,310 tons of cargo space plus jump 4. So you can make nice journeys off into the Great Rift or whatever, trade with smaller polities and bring rare goods back with you, but it is very expensive, 831.986 million credits. It does have a gig as well as 3 loading belts and a cargo crane for your massive cargo space. It doesn't have any armor, doesn't have any weapon systems, so that's why it needs to be on well-trodden trade routes, because otherwise it could get ripped to shreds by corsairs if it's in a dangerous area. Once again, I mean, a huge amount of this craft is fuel space and engines, and the actual crew space and cargo space is the rest. So the crew and accommodation just get this. And then we've got 2 cargo decks below that. The cargo deck's 3 decks high, and then we have a lower cargo deck as well. Now we've got independent ships. So these are turned out by independent shipyards, and these cater to smaller customers, but there's a lot of variation between them, and larger shipbuilders may not cater to these smaller scale customers. So it's good that the independents are out there doing it. So we've got our lone trader. So this is one of the ones that is on our expanded list of possible ships for mustering out. It's a free trader that basically can run from one person alone. So that's pretty cool, actually. I like that they've made a trader that is available for use with a one-on-one GM player situation. It's not a great ship. I mean, it's got thrust 1 and jump 1 with a late jump. It's got a small bridge just for one person, basically. It's got 1 standard stateroom. It does have 62 tons of cargo space, so you can make a go of it as a trader. And as long as you're along a main stretch where there's a bunch of systems in a row, then the jump 1 shouldn't be a big problem. But if anybody's after you, that late jump is going to be a problem, and you'll need to make sure you beef it up with some sort of defenses. It's only tech level 10 as well, but it means that as a solo traveler, it's only 19 million credits. It's still feasible for you to mortgage that. So that's cool. I like that, here's the ship that you can get if you want to do a one-on-one traveler game and have a free trader experience. Just as a solo one-on-one game, that'd be a lot of fun. We got the Deep Trader. So this is a far trader based on the Empress Morava hull. We can see from the shape. So if you you're familiar with the Empress Marava from High Guard. Looks a lot like this. It's red, the Empress Marava, and this one is more standardized. It's 200 tons and streamlined, so it can land on a planetary surface. Thrust of 1, it's not great, but a jump of 3, which is really nice. That's why it's a deep trader. It's also got a hardened computer, 2 double turrets with beam lasers, civilian-grade sensors, which could be improved, an air raft on board for extra flexibility. It's got fuel scoops and processors, cargo airlocks, loading belt, docking space, 10 staterooms, so you can also carry some passengers as well if you got a steward on board. There is definitely good value here. I mean, it's 67 million credits, which is not bad considering it's jump 3, enough space to carry some passengers, weaponry on board as well, 33 tons for cargo. Cargo space is obviously reduced because of the higher reach of the jump drive and the need for more fuel to service that, but you can still make a good go of it with a ship like this. Then we got the Advanced Far Trader, very similar to the standard Far Trader with a jump of 2, but this one is more expensive at 73.38 million credits. It's more efficient, but it still suffers from the old problem of jump dimming. So when the jump drive kicks in, you don't have enough power to run all the basic ship systems. So during the week you're in jump space, some of the basic lighting systems and stuff will shut down or dim. So that's kind of annoying, but the Far Trader has that anyway, and this one gives you a little bit of extra capability. So it's got a higher tech level of 15, super dense armor of 2, streamlined 200-ton hull, jump of 2 with decreased fuel and energy efficient, computer of 10, civilian-grade sensors, 10 staterooms, you can carry some passengers, and 73 tons of cargo space, so it's pretty good. It definitely gives you added value for the purchase price. It's just you have to deal with jump dimming, so it's not going to be a premium experience if you get some passengers, but you can still make money off the passengers if you got a steward to look after them. That could even be a robot, it doesn't have to be a person, so always bear that in mind. But it's a nice little ship for the cost. We got the Free Trader Plus. This is an interesting one. So 57.167 million credits. It's Type A Free Trader variant. It's the A+. Basically, it just made the classic Free Trader Type A a little bit larger, but the extra cost of the bigger hull makes it barely worth it. So it's 225 tons instead of 200. It's got an armor of 2, thrust 1, jump 1, like a standard Free Trader. A little bit more power, and it's got 10 standard staterooms, 20 low berths, civilian-grade sensors, fuel processors, all that sort of stuff, and 87 tons of cargo space. So you really would need to think cleverly how that extra cargo space will benefit you enough to pay off the higher mortgage. But still, it's reasonably cheap at 57 million compared to some of the other vessels that travelers might try to mortgage when they start out and go into deep, terrible debt. We got the Blockade Runner. This is an interesting one. They note, there are few legitimate reasons to own a vessel like this. Speed, stealth, armor, and fittings all point toward the goal of getting cargo into a system regardless of opposition. It's 240 tons and streamlined. It's got improved stealth, armor of 6, which is pretty decent, thrust 4, so it's speedy as well. It's got jump 2 with stealth jump, which is very nice. And it's got military grade sensors, a countermeasure suite, 2 triple turrets with beam lasers and sandcasters for defense, air rafts on board, fuel processors, fuel scoops, a booby-trapped airlock, and a grav screen, and a concealed compartment of 12 tons for smuggling cargo as well. A pretty suspicious ship. Is designed to run blockades into restricted spaces and smuggle stuff in your hidden compartments. Be on the lookout for customs ships if you're doing this within the Imperium. It'll be very profitable, but also very dangerous. That's why it's got all that stealth. Now we got the Draco Ocursum, a unique trading class vessel under the ownership of a group of travelers. It's not known what the original hull was, and it looks like a crazy mess. Look at that. But it's very well appointed, apparently. 380 tons, streamlined, bonded super dense armor of 6, thrust of 4, jump of 3, both very good. Computer of 20, improved sensors, 2 triple turrets of pulse lasers, another triple turret with missile racks, and a sandcaster. It's got a slow boat on board. The slow boat gives you more cargo that you can carry down to the surface, which is handy. It's got a fuel processor, armory, docking space for your slow boat, medical bay and workshop, 6 high staterooms, 8 standard, 6 low berths. Got a virtual gunner and fire control. So it's got an 8-person hot tub and a wet bar. Definitely seems like the kind of ship that a group of travelers would enjoy, but the purchase price is high with 198.6 million. There's only 13 tons of cargo space, so this is more about servicing the passenger trade and having that jump flexibility of 3 parsecs at a shot. Then we got the Space Liner, tech level 11. So this is a pretty typical vessel seen in the domain of Deneb. Independent operators and short haul routes will use these. It's got a 2 parsec jump range and it's a 400-ton close structure. The thrust is only 1, so it's not super fast in system, but jump 2 is decent. Small computer, but it's hardened. Civilian grade sensors, 4 double turrets, which are empty, but you can fill them up with stuff to help defend your passengers. Fuel processor and a medical bay, 42 standard berths and 30 low berths. It's 106 million, so not completely out of the reach of a group of ambitious travelers who want to get into the passenger trade, but you really probably will want to do some upgrades to this and add some some defense against Corsairs, and especially if you're going to service routes that go out into the frontiers. And we got the Tramp Merchant. Look at that. It's kind of Traveler's equivalent of the Millennium Falcon style. It's an attempt by smaller and less sophisticated shipyards to punch above their weight. It's a tech level 11, 400-ton craft, close structure, and light. It's got a thrust of 1, energy inefficient, and jump 2 with light jump, so not great. Small computer, but at least it's hardened. Only basic sensors, fuel processor, loading bay, 12 standard berths, and 10 low berths. Not a lot more to say about it. There's 200 tons of cargo space, though. It's solid enough, basically, to get you a large amount of cargo, a couple of parsecs at a time, and they are cheap at 59.49 million. For a 400-ton vessel, that's pretty good. But again, you've got very little in the way of defense. But you do have 12 standard berths, so you can make some money with passengers as well, as long as they don't mind the general low quality of the experience. But yeah, it's a nice sort of trade-off here, where you get a lot of cargo space and some flexibility from the Jump 2, but you're trading off quality, some flexibility in that, it's not able to land on the surface, stuff like that. We got the Belt Miner. This is a dream for belters that want to strike out in some asteroid belt and make good money. 500-ton close structure hull with thrust 1, jump 2. It's got a small bridge, a small computer with a hardened aspect, civilian-grade sensors, mineral detection suite for good belting, 2 double turrets with laser drills, and a belter launch, which is in the small craft catalog. We've seen that. And it can process fuel. It's got docking space for the belter launch, mining drones. So it's really specialized for a belting operation. And actually, you can go back to some of the classic Traveler Adventure Belt Strike, which was updated then in Mongoose Traveler 1E as a kind of nice way to get into a belting type adventure if you want to explore this kind of ship. It's fun. One of the many things that's fun about Traveler and the Charted Space universe is, you can kind of come up with a huge variety of scenarios where your players can decide what they want to do in this universe. They want to be belters, they can be belters. They can be running a passenger liner. They can be smuggling weapons through blockades. They can be pirates. They can do all kinds of things. And this is just another way to add to that flexibility. I would like to see a 2E update of the Belt Strike adventure, as that is quite a classic. It also has a lot of additional rules for how belting work actually operates, how mining actually operates in asteroid fields. So that'd be a good thing to have in the sort of high standard visuals of Mongoose 2E. We got the Backwater Merchant, which is a nice design visually. 135 million cost, so it is a bit expensive, but it's 600 tons and streamlined and light, so it can land in atmosphere. Only an armor of 1. It's got an increased thrust 1 drive, so that's not great, but it does have jump 2. It's got a small computer again, civilian grade sensors, but it's got 3 double turrets with beam lasers and sandcasters. You can see the low berths here. We got a lot of cargo space, which you can see 295 tons of cargo space. Got 15 standard berths as well and 20 low berths, so you can definitely make some money with passengers. You need some gunners to operate your turrets to make sure that you're defensible in the backwaters where you'll be trading, but it's a nice design. It's a bit larger than a subsidized merchant, but again, it is expensive at 135 million, so you need some way to finance it. Could be legal or extra legal, who knows. We've got a Gund Merchant, 600-ton streamlined hull again, this time with 6 armor, 2 thrust, and jump 2, which is nice. Bigger computer with 10, but it's not hardened. Civilian grade sensors, 4 triple turrets with beam lasers, 2 triple turrets with missile racks and sandcaster. It carries an air raft on board, fuel scoops, docking cranes, cargo cranes, 7 standard staterooms, and 268 tons of cargo space. So you lose a bit of cargo on this one, so that you can have the armor and all that additional gunnery, basically, but that's still a hell of a lot of cargo space. And jump 2 and thrust 2 will help you get it to where it needs to be. And the amount of weapons that you have available is not huge, but it will certainly make the average Corsair think twice. It's not fast enough M-drive wise to escape from a Corsair, but the threat of the weaponry will certainly help keep them away. And here we can see yet more cargo space and the other turrets and the bridge up front there at 12. Then we got the Exploratory Merchant. They say it's a good ship, but just not for what it was designed to do. It was designed to travel far beyond the frontier and possibly dangerous space to uncover new markets, but lacks a cargo hold large enough for it to be worthwhile. But for a traveler-owned ship, it can be quite useful, although it's expensive at 415.158 million credits. It has room for Marines, it can hold 3 gigs, and an entire Type S Scout Courier in the hull. It's a big-ass ship, 900 tons, standard hull. Not streamlined, but if you're carrying an entire Type S inside, well, that helps. It's got armor of 4, thrust 2, energy efficient, jump 3, energy efficient, which is great. It's got 7 double turrets of beam lasers and 2 single turrets of sandcasters, cylinders with 40 canisters. It carries a Type S Scout Courier on board and 3 gigs. They're all included in the price. Got fuel processors, fuel scoops, docking spaces, medical bay, 5 standard staterooms, and 15 barracks. Yeah, if you can hire some mercenaries to protect you and got enough money to operate this big monstrosity plus the Type S Courier inside, and you've got gigs, you could have a nice little operation going. Once you get into orbit of a suitable world, you can load up that 211 tons of cargo space, send the Scout Courier out to do missions, earn some money that way. So it's good and flexible for a traveler group, but you really do need some backing for that amount of money for it to be worthwhile. And you can see it's really massive. So just carries on with huge docking space. That's where the Type S Courier sits. Around it, we have the cargo hold stretching around. And then we have our jump drive on either side and another docking space up there. These are where the gigs sit. And then the upper deck is where all the action is for the actual passengers and travelers. Tons of fuel. You've got your M drives. You got some turrets. You've got common areas and your staterooms, etc. And then we got the Border World Freighter coming in at 1,000 tons. Despite the size, it's much cheaper than the previous ship at $226 million. That's because it's only thrust 1, jump 2, and armor 2. So it's less far-reaching. You really pay for a higher jump value. It carries a modular cutter on board, which is great. That gives a huge amount of flexibility. Modular cutters, as we know, you can trade out the 30-ton modules and have all kinds of stuff in there. You can make them pubs, you can make them barracks, you can make all kinds of crazy stuff. And it's also got a fuel processor, got a loading belt, 15 standard staterooms, and 514 tons of cargo space. Now, there's no weapons built in, but as a 1,000-ton ship, it should have 10 hard points. And they call it a clear winner in the mid-range trader market. No frills construction and rock-solid reliability. So, pretty decent if you got the money to grab one of those. And you can see the huge fuel space, all the engines, and then a thin line of staterooms, and the bridge is actually in the middle of deck 5 here, which is pretty odd. They have an armed liner. That's pretty cool. Looks like a cross between a submarine and a sunfish in a way, that fin on either side. So if you have increased piratical activity in a region, passenger ships will still need to get through somehow, but you'll have to have defense for them. So this is the ship that provides a solution to that. Unfortunately, at a high cost of 542.486 million credits. But it's 1,800 tons, armor of 5, thrust 1, jump 2, got light fighters, it's got military-grade sensors, computer 15, 4 double turrets with burst lasers, 2 double turrets with missile racks, 2 single turrets with sandcasters, 2 light fighters and a ship's boat, 3 high staterooms, 210 standards and 50 low berths, and an advanced theater. So you've got additional protection here from quite a few bits of weaponry. You've got half-decent armor, and you've got the light fighters to launch as well, help deter any pirates that are active in the routes that you're operating. And we can see quite a lot going on in the Legend here. Big staterooms here. We've got a number of turrets on the lower deck, along with the fuel, cargo holds, power plants, etc., and docking spaces. Then on the upper deck is where we have some additional staterooms and high staterooms, dorsal double turret burst lasers on that side. And the bridge is up here at 18 with the sensor suite just in front. And we've got our theater there for entertainment, which is nice. Then we have a passenger liner. So it's not one of the largest ones, but it's pretty big. So these take the strain of large passenger needs near the frontiers of empires. It's 2,800 tons, close structure. It's got a thrust of 1 and jump of 2, 20 automated lifeboats, civilian-grade sensors, 25-ton docking spaces, and the automated lifeboats, of course, are in the small craft catalog. 10 high-quality staterooms, 300 standards, and 300 low berths, a swimming pool, and a theater. So, yeah, a huge amount of passenger space on this guy. But you need a big crew. Captain, pilot, astrogator, administrators, 8 engineers, 2 maintenance staff, 4 stewards, and 3 medics take care of all these people. 730.46 million credit purchase cost, and a 60,872 credits per month maintenance cost. So, and there's your low berths down here, and the command deck. We got our express freighter, which looked weirdly like Darth Vader's TIE fighter. 3,500 tons, dispersed structure, and light. Thrust of only 1, but a jump of 6, which is pretty amazing. It's got a novel use of high-efficiency batteries to power the jump drive and frees up tonnage for more cargo, which in this case is 633 tons. So in the time it takes to load and unload the cargo, you could recharge the jump batteries, and it's not really going to be a noticeable delay to your operations. Generally, these are used by specialized corporations, especially because they cost over 1 billion credits. The Imperial Interstellar Scout Service does make use of these because they can reach far-flung frontier worlds with a jump of 6. It's got those high-efficiency batteries that give you power of 2100, gives you what you need exactly for the jump drive. It's got a small bridge, hardened, computer 25, loading belts, cargo crane, and 12 standard staterooms. So it's really pretty specialized for long distance freight and not going to be typical for travelers to own maybe, but definitely the Scout Service might be using these, which could be a part and parcel of an adventure for your group, or it could be something they just encounter in the space lanes a stricken express freighter that needs help, etc. Big ship, so we got lots of deck plans going on, tons of jump drive action here. Fuel, yet more jump drives, accommodations, common areas. Then we got a long-haul luxury cruise liner. This is pretty cool. So these are really expensive, 1.415 billion. Typically, a corporation will only own one of these because they're so expensive, and they won't find enough passengers to justify more than that. But they're 3,600 tons, close structure, light hulls, thrust 1, energy efficient, jump 4 with decreased fuel times 2. It's got small craft with it, computer 20, civilian grade sensors, 4 double turrets with beam lasers and sandcasters, so that could deter piracy. A passenger shuttle. It's got a launch as well, and a full hangar for the passenger shuttle, medical bays, libraries times 2, a biosphere, 30 luxury staterooms, 100 high staterooms, 25 standard, 40 low berths, and 16 barracks. So you've got Marines on board as well to help deter hijackers or pirates. It's also got anti-hijack 3 on the software, as you can see. You can really get to visit some exotic worlds on this gigantic vessel, but you have to pay for the privilege. It's not going to be cheap, shall we say. And here we can see more of the passenger spaces, luxury accommodations. What's 20 there? That is the observation area. Oh, cool. Okay, so that's what we see right there. So you've got this lovely observation dome. You can watch space phenomena or all that kind of cool stuff flying past you. Then we got Kukri ships. So these are more common in the trailing edge of the Imperium and the nearby smaller empires. They do occasionally show up, though, in the Trojan Reach or the Spainward Marches. But they're defined by being massive and being hugely open because the Kukri are herd animals that live in the plains. They're notoriously militant vegetarians, and they want to destroy all carnivorous sentient beings, basically. So they're quite terrifying. Their ships are vastly open spaces because they are hugely claustrophobic. And so being on a spaceship, they need as much open space as possible. I think that's really cool. These different species, like the Droyne we saw, they have their little pods and little areas, and they're quite happy to be smushed together. Kukri are the exact opposite of that. So here we have the Irkupar Warden of Herds. This is a local patrol and escort vessel, 3,400 tons, so massive, as typical for the Kukri. Streamlined and reinforced. It's got bonded super dense armor of 14 with radiation shielding, thrust 2, jump 2, main computer of 30, and a backup computer of 5 with some hardening. Got improved sensors, 8 small particle bays, 10 double turrets of pulse lasers, 10 double turrets of missile racks, and 6 double turrets of sandcasters. Got 5 nuclear dampers for protection, 10 armories, a briefing room, fuel processor and fuel scoops, 5 medical bays, repair drones, 2 workshops. It's got 159 staterooms for crew, and it's got evade, point defense, and advanced fire control, and a pretty extensive crew is needed. Plus you get 50 Marines on board. 1.596 billion credits. It's a big boy. We can see on the deck plans here, we've got cargo holds, workshops, we've got our nuclear damper, we've got loads of engines, and then we have these big wide open spaces here in the Kukri accommodations. Common areas here, access going through the decks. We have the bridge here, 21. Particle beam bays, small, are all located here. And then we have many turrets as well on these different levels, middle and upper deck. Then we have the carrier of goods, monstrous sphere. So this one is the Rakur class, a 4,000-ton freight vessel, and it's a spherical hull of 4,000 tons with armor of 3, thrust of 1, jump of 2, single computer 15, civilian-grade sensors, 4 double turrets with pulse lasers, 4 double turrets with sandcasters, so a little bit of defense. It's got a bearer of cargoes shuttle times 8, which are found in Aliens of Charter Space Volume 1. So those shuttles help bring cargo and people down from the surface of a planet. It also has 30 secure crew staterooms and 120 merchant cast minimal staterooms. It's got evade and fire control as well as the standard, and 1,000 tons of storage space. Jump 2, could be better for a merchant vessel, but it is sizable. It does have some decent defense, and it's got pretty big cargo space considering. And we can see here, these are the docking spaces, our storage areas here, got merchant cast accommodations, and some more here, bridge up front there. Then we get into the Solomani. So the Imperium might consider the Solomani to be vessels of war, so they're potent but inferior before the Imperial Navy's technology. The people of the Solomani sphere have just as much use for traders and gunboats as anyone else. While they are enemies of the Imperium, and they've had multiple clashes before, it doesn't mean all their vessels are designed to kill people. Some of them are just plying their trade like anyone else. That's what we see here. We have a light fighter. So the Prasad class, it's only 8 tons with streamlining and arrow fin, so it's good for aerospace operations as well. Super dense armor of 2, thrust of 8, so nice and fast for a light fighter. And it can operate for 2 weeks, got a hardened computer of 5, military grade sensors, fixed mount missile rack. So if you got a bunch of these, you can throw up a nice screen of missiles, which is fun. It only holds up 12 missiles at a time, but it can easily fly back at high thrust to get reloads. Got the Solomani gig, tech level 14, it's 20 tons, streamlined and light. Nice little design as well. It's kind of interesting pastel vibes. Thrust of 8, which is pretty hefty for a gig as well. Computer of 5, fuel scoop, airlock, 8 acceleration seats. Moves like a fighter, even though it's just a gig to kind of move people around between vessels or from orbit to the surface or vice versa. We got the mains trader, Bausch mains trader, 250 tons, so a bit bigger than, for example, the Morava class far trader. It's got thrust of 1, jump of 1, computer 5, civilian grade sensors, cargo airlock and loading belt, 12 standard and 12 low berth staterooms. And yeah, nothing else much to report in the way of weaponry, but it does have enough staterooms that you could make some money with passengers. Yeah, so it's not the most remarkable mains trader out there, but it'll certainly do the job with 114 tons of cargo space. Pretty standard for a trader type ship. Then we have the backwater trader. This is a little more interesting to me. It's a little bit higher purchase cost. We got 70 million here, but this one is designed to challenge the far trader type of ships. So they're 300 tons, a bit bigger, thrust 1, jump of 2, which is more handy. It's got a hardened computer of 5, civilian grade sensors, fuel scoops, all that stuff, 14 standard staterooms and 12 low berths, so you can do more passenger work. It's got 110 tons of cargo space as well. They've been seen as far away as the spinward marches and gateway sectors, so they do get around. That's how they earn the moniker of the backwater trader. They turn up in frontier sectors all around the charted space area. Then we got the system defense boat for the Solomani, built to a budget with the idea that speed is just as effective as armor. So it's got a thrust of 6 and an armor of 4, 300-ton close structure hull. Got an emergency power system as backup if the power system get critted out. It's got 20 weeks of fuel tanks, hardened computer of 10, military grade sensors, 2 triple turrets with beam lasers, medium missile bay of increased size, and 144 missiles in storage, plus a nuclear damper, an armory, 7 standard staterooms. Decent amount of gunnery, good speed of 6. It says a flight of 3 will spell the doom for any typical corsair, while a mass squadron of 20 will dog the escorts of an incoming fleet while larger system defense boats take on the warships. Decent firepower, packs a punch, as well as the speed. Then we got the liner, a little pretense of comfort and a weird shape. Look at this thing. So 400-ton standard hull. That feels more like a close structure to me, but whatever. Thrust of 1, jump of 3, which is nice, so it can get you pretty decent distance across the stars. It's got a small bridge, hardened computer of 10, civilian grade sensors, a medical bay, 6 standard staterooms, 24 passengers in steerage blocks, and 3 of those, and a basic theater for entertainment. So very, very much not glamorous, but if you want to run passengers at a relatively low cost, 117 million, plus 22 tons of cargo, then there's some profitability here. So if you got regular runs that you can do safely, you can make some money with that. Then we got the proper system defense boat, 600 tons standard hull, radiation shielding, enhanced stealth, crystalline armor of 12, thrust of 4, so not as speedy as the smaller system defense boat we saw earlier, but it is twice the size. Got a bigger computer at 20, improved countermeasures suite, sensor station, and extension net. It's got 2 medium pulse laser bays, 2 beam laser barbettes, and 2 missile barbettes with 288 missiles on board. It's got 2 nuclear dampers. It's got armored bulkheads around the bridge, M-drive, and power plant, plus repair drones in a medical bay and an armory. It's got a high stateroom and 15 standard staterooms, plus it's got evade, fire control, and auto repair programs. It's not a realistic defense against a heavily armored warship, but it can pretty much punch above its weight, given that it sacrifices jump capability for weaponry. Then we have the close escort, Salem class. You can see this chunky looking guy here. 600 tons close structure, armor of 4, thrust of 6, so it's pretty speedy, and a jump of 4, which is pretty awesome. And it's designed to be the equivalent of the Gazelle class close escort of the Imperium. In order to achieve the Gazelle's capabilities, which it does, it needs to be significantly larger because of the lower tech level. But it does have thrust 6, jump 4, which is pretty awesome. It's also got improved countermeasures, 2 pulse laser barbettes, 2 triple turrets of pulse lasers, and 2 triple turrets of missile racks, with 144 missiles in storage, a nuclear damper, carries a single Prasad light fighter, plus you've got a medical bay, armory, briefing room, 6 standard staterooms, 13 barracks, and you've got evade and fire control programs as well, which helps you out with the numerous weapons you have on board and all the missiles you got to deal with, and of course huge amounts of fuel tanks needed for jump 4. But yeah, it's a nice, fast ship, and with jump 4 can keep up with larger fleet movements. We got the freighter. This is the Mowbray class. Good for independent trader captains. A low cost, 110 million for the size. 600 tons dispersed structure. You can kind of see that shape here. Thrust of 1, jump of 2. Small bridge. A small hardened computer of 5. It's got basic sensors, 2 cargo airlocks, and a cargo crane. 3 standard staterooms with 452 tons of cargo space out of 700 tons of ship. That's pretty dang good. You can't do planetary landings, and it doesn't have any auxiliary craft, so that limits your operations a bit. But given the price and the amount of cargo you get for the price, if you're looking to start a merchant line, it might not be a bad place to look. Then we got the Commerce Raiders. This is on the opposite end of the things. This is a Nasser class Commerce Raider. You can jump past defensive lines and bring to heel merchant vessels an order of magnitude larger than itself. It's an 800-ton close structure with improved stealth. It's got bonded super dense armor of 3, thrust of 5, so it's nice and fast. Jump of 3 as well with decreased fuel, which is great. It's got a hardened computer, improved countermeasures suite, 2 pulse laser barbettes, 6 triple turrets of pulse lasers. Carries a Solomani gig as well for space operations. It's got your docking spaces, of course, repair drones, armory, fuel scoops, medical bay, etc. 9 standard staterooms and a brig. So it's not going to be a ship that you will use to carry passengers. It's designed for raiding, but with its high jump and its pretty decent weaponry and stealth capabilities, you have a chance of making some interesting money when you raid some convoys. Pretty good. Then we get the Constantine class Corvette. These big fellas here, pulse laser bays, gigantic monstrosities. You can see them poking out here on the image as well. So these are deployed on patrol, counterinsurgency, and customs duties. So they're 800 tons standard hulls with radiation shielding, bonded super dense armor of 6, thrust of 5, which is pretty fast, jump of 3 with decreased fuel, hardened computer, military grade sensors, countermeasure suite, shallow penetration suite, which is nice, 2 small pulse laser bays, 4 triple turrets with beam lasers, 2 triple turrets with missile racks, 288 missiles in storage, nuclear damper screens, carries 2 Solomani gigs and the docking spaces for them, plus medical bay, 4 linkage apparatus for boarding, breaching tubes again for boarding, and 14 staterooms, and only 25 tons of cargo. So this is more a ship that you're going to run into and have to try and negotiate your way out of trouble, because look at the size of those guns, big guns. And we can see tons of fuel space as well. And we got the fast liner, which is a really odd looking thing. The Maya Lara class, 900 tons streamlined. It's a fast liner, so it's designed to carry passengers. Thrust 1, jump of 3, it's pretty decent. Computer 15, civilian grade sensors, triple turrets of purely sandcasters. It's got a medical bay and a biosphere, fuel scoops, it's got a VIP suite, high passenger blocks, each one holds 6 passengers, and there are 4 of them. It's got 6 standard staterooms for the crew. As common areas, you've got an advanced theater, a gourmet kitchen, and a swimming pool. So, decent level of accommodations for upper class passengers, but it also costs 273.565 million credits, so you need to be pretty well established before you can get one of these for yourself. But it is something you will see plying the space lanes in Solomani space. You can see there we've got a ton of engine going on. We've got our luxury staterooms, high staterooms. Then we've got our light destroyer, Mercedes Abdo class light destroyer. So it's built more or less around an oversized particle bay and hangar. It's pretty capable for its size of 1,200 tons. Carries a squadron of 10 Prasad light fighters, but it also could hold an additional small craft on top of this. It's got a large docking space. So it's 1,200 tons standard hull with radiation shielding, crystal iron armor of 2, thrust 5, very fast and nippy, jump 3, which is great, computer of 20, military grade sensors, medium particle beam bay with size reduction. So that's what they're talking about. It's a big weapon that's been reduced down to fit into this smaller frame. And it's got 6 triple turrets of beam lasers, 4 triple turrets of missile racks with 288 missiles in storage, a nuclear damper screen, 10 light fighters, and a full hangar of 130 tons. So those extra tons, like they say, could be used for a cutter or utility boats. Got your medical bay, armory, briefing room, and workshop, 12 standard staterooms, and 16 barracks. So you can have some Marines on board as well. And you can see here, that's our big medium particle bay. Huge gun. Yeah, not one you want to be facing down, for sure. Then we have the Tangarda Aquatic Liner. This is pretty cool. It's developed by Dolphins for Dolphins. So it makes no compromises for the comfort of its passengers. It's got a streamlined hull. It's light. It's got no gravity and an aquatic environment. So it's rated for oceanic dives up to a depth of 1 kilometer. And it can give you a seamless ocean-to-ocean trip without the need for travel suits or any orbital shuttles for the Dolphins. The interior is a full aquatic environment simulating shallow waters. And the habitation area is designed around a large commons with plentiful space for the dolphins to socialize and play. How cute is that? It's 1,325 tons, streamlined, to let you go through atmosphere, with the light hull, the aquatic environment, of course, inside. Crystal iron armor of 3, thrust 1, jump 1, so not super fast or far-reaching, but very specialized. It's got an A drive, aquatic drive, that moves you at 20 knots, down to 1,000 meters depth. Computer of just 5, civilian grade. Sensors, it carries a launch for emergencies, fuel scoops, processors, docking space, 96 Dolphin standard staterooms, and a little bit of anti-hijack software, which is handy. Although, who would want to hijack this except other aquatic creatures? Who knows? Maybe affiliated orcas would want a piece of this. So you can see the residential areas. I mean, these are all going to be flooded with water, and they're common spaces for the dolphins to play as well. It's a very interesting ship. I really like that this is in here, especially since dolphins are playable as of the Aliens of Outer Space Volume 3, along with the orcas. Then we got a Sancho class freighter, tech level 12, 2,200 ton close structure with thrust of 1 and jump of 3. Got a hardened computer of 10, civilian grade sensors, can process fuel, 4 cargo airlocks, cargo crane, 4 loading belts, biosphere, and a library, 8 staterooms, your standard software, and then it's got an endless swimming pool. It's kind of cool. And it can hold 1,170 tons of cargo. No passengers can be taken, but there is some small attention to crew comfort, so it's, quote, not completely awful. It's kind of funny. And here, in fact, is your crew section there, but there's just so much space devoted to the engines and the cargo, as we can see. So it really is about packing cargo in for long distance 3 parsec journeys. Then we got the Sword World. So ships of the Sword Worlds are described as pugnacious, relatively simple in design, and capable of a great deal in the hands of a determined crew. Sword Worlds, they're a rough and tumble type of place. They like to fight. That remains the case even with their traders. So we have here a defense frigate, 600 ton standard hull, reinforced. Is the Kriegsgolda class. So it's built to defend convoys from missile, torpedo, and small craft attack, but also serves the same role in small fleets. Got a thrust of 5, armor of 12, jump of 3. Very nice. Hardened computer, improved hardened sensors, sensor station, and improved signal processing. 2 triple turrets of burst lasers, 3 triple turrets of beam lasers hardened, and 1 medium pulse laser bay. It's got a nuclear damper, armory, briefing room, unrep system, 9 staterooms, and it's got your standard software plus point defense, electronic warfare, evade, and fire control. Only 3 tons of cargo, so it really is just about defense and escort duties. Well, we can see that reflected in the deck plans as well. I mean, there's enough room for the crew and the bridge crew, and that's it. And we got our system defense boat, the Priest Vogel class. Designed at TL-10 intentionally to enable newly colonized or conquered worlds to build large numbers of system defense craft quickly. So it's simplified components. It's got thrust of 4, thrust of 2 with an R drive, so you can get a little bit faster with the R drive kicking in. It also has a lot of military hardware. So you've got a hardened computer, military grade sensors, 2 sensor stations, shallow penetration suite, 8 double turrets of beam lasers, 3 double turrets of missile racks, and a double turret of sandcasters. It holds 1,080 missiles, 120 sandcaster canisters. Got an armory, a full hangar of 100 tons, 16 standard staterooms, barracks for 36, so you'll have marines on board as well, and a brig. If pirates try to make a mess in your system, this system defense boat, or SDB, will do a good job of fighting them off. So it looks pretty Sword Worldsy, just functional, beefy, but it's designed to pack a punch and drive off any interlopers. We got another system defense boat, the Drakesword class. It's a rare sight, but a point of pride for its system defense force. Sometimes made the flagship of the fleet. It's at 2,000 tons with a reinforced sphere hull, titanium steel armor of 8, thrust of 3, fuel efficient. It's only tech level 8. There's no M drive here because of the low tech level. Got medium missile bays times 2, small missile bays times 6, small torpedo bays times 2, small laser bay, small pulse laser bay as well. Carries 1,524 missiles, 72 torpedoes, and 80 sandcaster canisters. Briefing room, unrep system, medical bay, breaching tubes. Got high staterooms times 2, standard times 24, and barracks for 48 personnel. So low tech, simplistic vessel designed to just brawl against other ships. But it will need to be refueled because that R drive will eat through fuel like nothing else. The thrust is only 3 even with that, so not very efficient, but it does pack a punch. And then we move on to the Vargar. Vargar ships tend to be eclectic, reflecting the disunited nature of the Vargar extents, the pack-based society. They have a diversity of architecture. Vargar ships tend to be fast or tough or both. But it does say a Vargar ship can be an extremely dependable choice for an independent crew or a group of travelers, so keep an eye out for that. Here we have, for example, a speculative trader. So these are found deep in the Vargar extents and can be as ubiquitous as the free trader is in the Spinward Marches. 300-ton streamlined hulls, crystalline armor 2, thrust of 3, jump of 2, which is pretty good. Got a small bridge storage, computer of 5, civilian grade sensors, 2 double turrets of beam lasers, and a single turret sandcaster. It's got fuel processor, fuel scoops, cargo airlock, 16 staterooms, and 10 low berths. So there's some flexibility there, plus the 81 tons of cargo space. So you can bring some cargo with you. You've got jump 2 and thrust 3, so reasonable maneuverability both interstellar and within system. And you've got enough staterooms to make a little money with a steward and some passengers. So pretty decent. Cost is 94.59 million, so a little bit more than a typical trader, but it also is bigger and faster. So it's got that going for it. We have the Heavy Corsair. Now, if you want to be a pirate, this is a good place to look. You can see here the fusion gun bays. Big beefy gun sticking out the side. Tech level 12, class Urzva. It's 600 tons streamlined with crystalline armor of 6, thrust of 5, and jump of 2. Pretty good. Computer 10, military grade sensors, 2 small fusion gun bays, 2 triple turrets with beam lasers, 2 double turrets with missile rack and sandcaster, 48 missiles stored on board, and 40 sandcaster canisters. Fuel processor, fuel scoops, cargo scoops, breaching tube, and forced linkage apparatus for forced boarding of stricken vessels, which is pretty likely with those fusion gun bays. Got 4 standard staterooms and 12 barracks, so you can bring some Marines on board as well. Yeah, pretty decent for a pirate-inclined group of travelers. It says, when the fusion gun ports open, the threat is clear. Any resistance will quite simply be annihilated. So, yeah. It's a fearsome Corsair. Got the Fast Merchant, which has the garish color scheme typical of Vargar vessels. As we know, dogs have weird color vision. They tend to see blues and yellows much more than other colors. So what they view as attractive coloring is quite garish for non-dog people. This is an 800-ton Fast Merchant with a close structure. Got a thrust 6 and jump of 2. Not bad. Computer of 10. Military-grade sensors. 2 double turrets full of sandcasters, so only defense. 25 standard berths and 10 low berths, so you can do some passenger running as well. And it's got evade software and 305 tons of cargo space. Nice mixture of good deal of thrust, a decent jump range of 2, great deal of cargo space. Yeah, you can use that speed to get away from threats and to carry passengers decent distance with the jump 2 as well. Then we've got the frigate Cadiza class. They also have anti-piracy vessels, the Vargar, despite their love of piracy. But really, you need both because the Vargar are not a unified government. So some Corsair groups and packs will fight against others. So this is a TL-14, 950-ton standard hull with radiation shielding. Bonded super dense armor of 8, thrust of 4, jump 4, which is pretty fantastic. It's got a hardened computer with improved countermeasures suite, small missile bay, 2 fusion gun barbettes, 6 triple turrets with pulse lasers, 288 missiles on storage, nuclear damper screens, Noel Garai strike fighters, which are in the small craft catalog, fuel scoops, fuel processors, docking space for the fighter, 7 staterooms, 22 barracks, and a brig, and it's got evade 2 and fire control 3 to help you with the weaponry. So yeah, good as an anti-piracy vessel. It's pretty hefty. Can also be used for ground operations, strikes, and recon duties if there aren't any piratical activities going on. Once again, we've got weird printing going on here. Happens sometimes with Mongoose. What can you do? The other page is also a bit funky, but there we go. And here we can see it's got a ton of fuel space to fuel that jump 4. And here as well. But there is enough room to carry some passengers along as well. And you got your briefing rooms and so forth. Then finally, we've got the Zhodani. Even a humble trader is viewed with suspicion if it emerges from the Zhodani consulate. Could it be a spy ship? Are the crew telepaths who will invade the mind of an honest merchant? Will they influence terrorist groups in the Imperium to rise to violence? But in general, most Zhodani are actually more peaceful than Imperium inhabitants. And certainly the space between star systems in the consulate itself is safer than the Third Imperium space. However, definitely there are some ships built by the Zhodani with nefarious intent. So here we have a Zhodani free trader, tech level 11, 300 tons streamlined, so you can land on the planet surface. Thrust of 1, jump of 2, hardened computer at 10, civilian grade sensors, 3 double turrets, which are empty, so you can outfit those how you like. Fuel scoop, fuel processor, and cargo crane. Yeah, I guess maybe not great for passengers. Yeah, you've got Marines on board as well. So it's an aging design, but has been decommissioned for civilian use. So maybe you could get some passengers on board with your 15 staterooms as well. And you've got 94 tons of cargo space, which is pretty decent. Jump 2 is nice. Thrust could be better, but yeah, not bad for a free trader. Then we got the Frontier Trader, tech level 13. Beyond the borders of the consulate gets pretty dangerous for the Zhodani, so the ship kind of reflects that. It's 300 tons streamlined. Cost is higher at 94.6 million. It's got a bit of crystal iron armor at 3, thrust of 2 and jump of 2, which is nicer than the free trader. It's got civilian grade sensors, 2 double turrets of beam lasers, another double turret with sandcaster and missile rack. It's got fuel scoops, fuel processors, cargo cranes, 12 standard staterooms, and the standard software for a trader class vessel with 94 tons of cargo space out of its 300. Yeah, it's able to shrug off typical pirates with its beam lasers and missiles, but it also can carry a decent amount of cargo in its cargo space here. And then we have the Anscho class freighter, which is both unarmed and unarmored, so it's never seen outside the consulate, where space is pretty safe. 500 tons in streamline, thrust of 1, jump of 2, computer of 10, civilian grade sensors, fuel scoop, fuel processor, and cargo crane. 22 standard staterooms, so you can also use this for passenger carriage. And it's got 197 tons out of its 500 dedicated to cargo. Really nothing to defend this thing at all, but it's got that 2 parsec jump distance, and it can carry passengers as well, which is handy. Then we got the liner for the Zhodani as well. This is the Fliavra class, a long-range, high-class liner plying between the richest worlds for the most desirable of passengers, designed for the nobility. 1,000-ton streamline, so it can land and deal in atmosphere. It's got a thrust of 1, jump of 4, so it can move quite a distance. Plus, it's got a slow pinnace on board, a hardened computer, civilian-grade sensors, fuel scoop, fuel processor, and medical bay, 2 luxury staterooms, 18 high staterooms, and 12 standard. Plus a gourmet kitchen for 15, and an advanced theater, and 39 tons of cargo. So yeah, with 2 stewards, you can run this as a high-class luxury liner plying the different routes of Zhodani space. Nobility will pay a mighty high price for the purpose. So pretty useful if you're working within Zhodani space. And we can see all the staterooms here. Here on the upper deck, the bridge up front and the sensors. We've got crew spaces, gourmet kitchen, some luxury staterooms, etc. Then we have the intelligence frigate, the Enklov class, tech level 13. It's exceedingly expensive, 840.74 million credits, 1,400 tons streamlined with improved stealth, armor of 6, crystal iron, thrust 2, energy efficient times 2, jump of 4, which is nice, emergency power backup systems. It's got a hardened computer, improved rapid deployment, extended hardened sensors, 2 sensor stations, countermeasure suite, extension net, shallow penetration suite, and enhanced signal processing. So really heavy on the intelligence gathering. It's got 2 double turrets full of sandcasters, 2 fusion barbettes, and a small torpedo bay, for which it holds 24 torpedoes and 80 canisters for the sandcaster. And it's got the Estel intrusion shuttle, which we've seen in the small craft catalog. It also is a stealthy vessel. It's also got repair drones, a full hangar for the shuttle, fuel processors, a graph screen, medical bay, vault, and a workshop, 2 high staterooms, 12 standard, and a brig. Got evade, fire control, and auto repair software to give it that extra bit of oomph. Nice big deck plans for these. So we've got our common areas, we've got staterooms, we've got a torpedo bay here, 25, we've got our fusion barbettes. Up front, we got the bridge, 2 sensor stations, and down below, we have our docking space for the Estel shuttle. We've got the double turret sandcasters and the jump drive. And there you go. Then we have an index by faction of the different ships and index by tonnage, which is really handy for the GM. And that is Traders and Gunboats' newest release of useful ships for travelers and otherwise in Mongoose Traveler 2e. So what do I think of this book? I think it's really handy. There's some really cool ships in here that definitely would be usable by a group of travelers. I also like the fact that there's ships in here that are designed from and for other cultures. I think that enriches the world of charted space. It gives your players perhaps some more intriguing ideas for campaigns. It allows you as a GM to propose more interesting ideas for campaigns. And if you end up exploring the Hiver Confederation or Zhodani Consulate or whatever, then you end up with a bit of a luxury here in that you've got ships to fill out those interesting spaces that a lot of travelers don't get to see. So I think it's fantastic. I'm really happy to have it. And of course, those of you who are engineer types who like to build your own ships may not have need of this, but if you're like me and you don't have time for that sort of stuff, then this book is really good value. 200 pages of ships for, I think I paid £35 on Dungeon Land, which is a great place to get traveler stuff, by the way. Comes with the free PDFs, just like if you're buying from Mongoose, but you get a decent discount on top of that. I got some more traveler stuff from them recently, which we'll look at in short order. I do want to get back to the Force and Destiny book for Star Wars sometime, hopefully before that. But in the meantime, I got tons of stuff to show you. I got some Kickstarters coming in like crazy. So a lot to catch up on during the time I was dealing with some personal stuff. But hopefully that will start to clear up and we'll be back on a more regular update schedule. So if you're into Traveler, you don't want to build your own ships, buy this book. bought it, do not regret it, highly recommended. And look forward to more Traveler stuff coming from me in the coming weeks, alongside some other sci-fi stuff and some completely non-sci-fi stuff, even some OSR content coming your way soon, so look out for that. If you like what you saw, please click like, subscribe, and the little bell thingy so you know when my next videos come out. If you feel like supporting my efforts, then please do click on the Ko-fi link and buy me a cup of coffee or a beer or whatever, and that would go a great deal towards relieving my pain for my huge monthly RPG expenditures that I tend to make. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. Traveler 2E from Mongoose is a really great experience. If you've not tried sci-fi role-playing before, I strongly recommend checking it out. And there's so many, it's such a well-supported game line with so many books to cover everything the GM could possibly need, everything the Traveler could possibly need, plus loads of setting info if you like charted space. It's just incredible the amount of stuff that's out there for this game, so you will never be left in the dark. Once again, you should watch Seth Grokowski's set of Traveler videos to understand the basics, which I will link below in the description. And yeah, give Traveler a try. These ships are fun to fly, it's a fun game to play, and you never know what the hell your players are going to do if you're a GM for Traveler. It's a lot of fun and interesting challenge that way. So with that being said, take care of yourselves. Hope you all stay in good health, and I hope to see you in the comments below and in our next video as well. So take care, see you soon, and bye-bye.